Thank you very much. Let me wake up my computer first. Hey, hello, I'm Cheuk. This talk is about something that is very important in our community, and I hope that after this talk, you would get more insight about what effort has been put in to make Python safer than ever. And if you see people who are working on it, which I'll introduce to you in a bit, if you meet them in the conference, because both of them are in the conference, please say hi and say thank you to them. Okay, I always say in advance that this is the most important slide of the whole slide deck, because I know some people like taking notes and stuff. If you have this slide, because you have the link to the whole slide deck, you don't have to take any pictures after, so it would kind of make it easier for you. So, you got the picture? Yes? Okay. Right, so again, I'm Cheuk. I am, the PSF director and fellow at the moment. And how I started, because I love open source project. I contribute to open source project. I also organize a lot of events. I just got more and more involved in the community. And then that's why I'm here. I become, helping the Python Software Foundation for, the effort in kind of, building the community and promoting Python. Right now, I am actually working at my own company, CMD Limes. Actually, the three founders, all of us are women. All of us are here. So if you're interested, talk to us about it. And I also got stickers. So before I start the talk, I would like to ask you a question. Let's say you have to move somewhere tomorrow, and you don't know where, you haven't decided, but now you have to choose a place. So maybe you roll out a map, maybe you're not changing country, maybe you are still want to move somewhere in America, if you live here. I assume everybody lives here, but I'm not. So yeah, you roll a map and then kind of choose a place to live. Or maybe it's more than just looking at the map. Maybe you would do some research about different places. What are the criteria you would use to choose a place to live? What will you put in your search engine to understand about the place that you may want to move to? For me, I would definitely check whether the neighborhood is safe. Safety is very important, especially for me as a woman. I sometimes feel, if the neighborhood, have a lot of violence, if I can't go home after dark, then it's not a neighborhood I want to live in. It could be dangerous. So safety is very important. But even though sometimes you stay at home, you don't go out, are you safe? Not really, because nowadays you have your computer, you have your internet, you will go online, maybe you would go online and, buy something or download something. That can also be not safe, because, now we have something called cybersecurity, right? And if we are doing something that is considered unsafe using our technology, then you are actually also vulnerable, even though you're physically at home. So security in Python, for me, I think is very, very important, because Python community for me is like my home. It's where I come here, I hang out with all the people that I like, I love, all my friends, people I care about. I want everybody to be safe. I want to protect them. So that's why we have to care about security in Python. What make this community special? What make the Python community, in my opinion, more vulnerable than other tech communities? Because of the unique characteristic of Python. If you talk to people here, I'm challenging you, talk to people here and ask them oh, what's your background? What do you use Python for? Then you know that we have a very diverse, community that not just who they are, but also their background, their educational background, what they do at work, because we have lots of different people using Python. you may came across today. I remember there's a lightning talk speaker. They are, a PhD researcher. You know, Python is used by a lot of researcher who is like, advancing our technology, advancing our life, advancing science. They're using Python. Data scientist is a new field. My background is in data science. Now a lot of them are using Python, maybe for their company. So they are, it's a tool that they love. Even bank, or the financial industry is using Python. Of course, they may have a data science team. They may be using Python, but that's a I always talk about you want to make sure that anything financial is safe, right? Because you don't want to lose your money. Nowadays, like your money is just a number on your bank account, so you don't want things to be messed up. Then people who lose money, lose their livelihood is bad. So yeah, it needs to be very safe if you are working for a bank, but they are using Python. Government as well, government also have they have a lot of sensitive data. They have a lot of information. They have a lot of things that is very important. We have to protect it. We don't want anything to go wrong with the government system. Teachers, they are actually, planting the seeds for the next generation. They're using Python. Nowadays, more and more schools are teaching Python at school. So it may become a language that those young students use in the future in their career. And anyone, you and me sitting here, since this is a PyCon, you're sitting here, I'm guessing you're using Python to a certain extent, either at your work professionally or for your hobby project. So we are all using Python. But that makes Python vulnerable. Like I said, we have a very diverse profile of user. Everybody's using Python. You can walk on the street and someone may be writing a Python code to do some automation at the work. So that makes it very hard to predict how can we approach this, for example, give out the message or give out the best practice for everybody, because everybody's practice is different. How can you suggest a best practice? It's a bit difficult. Also, because Python, like I said, is now taught in schools, so it could be a lot of people's first programming language. So people who are using Python may not have a engineering background. I remember back when I was in school, when I studied my first computer course, I was doing C, and then you have to understand the memory pointer and all these things. So you have a better idea about how a computer works, and then you may understand what can go wrong. But a lot of Python users, it's a scripting language for them. They are just using Python to do something, faster for them. So they may not understand what can go wrong with the computer. So I know that nowadays cybersecurity is something that governments around the world now is getting more and more conscious about. For example, here in the U.S., we have the executive order for cybersecurity. So this is something that is on the agenda for the government, because they really care about it. And also NTIA also published this minimum elements for an SBOM. So SBOM, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like the ingredient list on your packs of chips here in America. So it's telling you what your software is made of, and now there's more requirement. It's kind of standardizing it, so users have more visibility of what actually they are using, because looking at the code sometimes may not be enough. Sometimes because they have dependencies, so having a SBOM is kind of listing those for transparency. In Europe, because I'm from UK, so Europe is closer to me, the CRA, Cyber Resilience Act is already voted on, and it will become effective in a few years. There's also other, the EU Parliament is doing other regulations, AIX, PLD, and all this stuff. So government around the world also care about security. We need to protect our Python users. So not just relying on other organizations, but as a community ourselves, we have to do something together to protect our users, and also developers, you and me sitting here. So this is kind of a segue talking about, like what issues we may have like with open source project. This is actually a study done by an organization that is Endolab. So that I just copy their result here and show you the top 10 risk with open source software. So first of all, known vulnerabilities. Of course, if a vulnerability is exposed, then it kind of show the back door to the baddies, and they can just come in if they want. So that's that's a risk. And with open source software, usually they are very popular and used by many companies and users. So this makes it even worse. Compromise of legitimate packages, so that actually involves a little bit of like who can actually upload to the place the package is hosted. That's kind of related to what we do with PyPI. I will explain later in a bit, but you don't want baddies to upload a let's say, for example, hypothesis, because it's my friend's project. So let's say hypothesis, like everybody use hypothesis for testing, and if my friend being not careful and some baddies get his account and upload something that's not hypothesis but something that is doing bad things, is really bad. Name confusion attacks, I always tell people like that this is how you can pip install malware, because there's a bad malware that have a similar name, you made a mistake, do a typo, pip install, and then you have the malware in your computer. And to make it worse, when you install, they can have some script that actually will run when you install it, even if you discover after you press enter, then it's maybe too late. So another thing, open source software, unmaintained software, because open source project a lot of times is maintained by very few maintainers, and they are not paid for doing this. So sometimes they have to give up and do something else. Then the software become unmaintained. Then it could provide a problem because it could be outdated. There may be security issues in the pipeline, and nobody's going to update and fix it. Outdated software kind of similar, but that is like the level of like you should not use outdated software that could have, again, like security issues, vulnerabilities that it has been patched, but it's on you. You have to update it. You have to use the newer version. Untracked dependencies. This is, a lot of newbies in Python could make the mistake, didn't store, like, just pip install and use it and forgot what dependencies they have, and this is not a good practice. License risk, not really security risk, but, open source software, we have license, and do you know which license the library you're using is having? So, yeah, again, like I don't have time to cover all the details, but talk to me after. Immature software, I know like now every day there's a new library coming, up and coming libraries. So they may get changed very rapidly because it's an active development and it's not mature yet. So also there may be like more issues that users may find along the way. So yeah, that could increase the risk of that software. Unapproved changes, again, like now, like we can protect the main branch on GitHub, because sometimes a new maintainer may make the rookie mistake and push to the main branch or things like that. So this is also something that is not good. Again, like Python, I know I was a data scientist. I have too many dependencies, so oversized dependencies that would increase your risk because you have a lot of different libraries that could expose themselves to vulnerabilities. So yeah, if you have more, you want to know more, I have another talk to talk about these 10 things in detail. But again, like if you're interested, talk to me afterwards. So I want to tell you, since I'm also wearing the PSF board member hat on my head. So I want to introduce you to what PSF has been doing to help to protect the Python community, protect you and me. So we are very fortunate in the recent years. We have hired 2 full-time engineers to help us regarding security. So first of all, this very nice gentleman, Seth, again, like if you see him, please, go and say hi and thank him for, doing all of this. He's the security developer in residence in for us. He is mainly working on the security issues in CPython and maybe pip. So this role is actually funded by Alpha Omega, so thank you for them. Another gentleman I want to introduce to you is Mike. So Mike is another security engineer that help us make the ecosystem safer. So his work is mainly focusing on PyPI, and this role is funded by AWS. And again, thank you for them. So I want to show you a little bit of what they have done for us. So I want to let you know. So if two-person is not enough, right? So you may want to know like what they're doing and how you can help. So, but before I will show you what they have done first, and then maybe later you can think of what you can help. So first of all, well, we all know how to download Python, right? You may use like something like Homebrew if you're using Mac like me, or you can get CPython on our python.org. But can I trust python.org or can I trust Homebrew? Is that like the legitimate version of Python, or is there something dodgy? Because yeah, I can again, like confusion, right? I can have like maybe change the python.org a little bit, like change the name a little bit. You have a typo, and then well, the website looks the same, and then you download the wrong version of Python, which is a malware. How can I check? So now, all the Python release are actually signed with Sixstore. So Sixstore is another open source project that is that can help you to verify whether the software you download on the internet are actually legitimate. So instead of like changing keys, which is kind of an older practice, it uses something called keyless signing. So the signing event, so actually stored in a database, is called a Recno. So there you can see the log. You can see like, okay, what has been signed by who at what time, and they're all recorded. It could be audited. So that's kind of increased the transparency, and also you can verify whether the software that you have gotten is the right one. So this slide may not be very updated, but oh, actually, yeah, it's because it's starting from Python 3.11 and all these like releases. So of course the newer ones also signed. So yeah, CPython will have the artifacts that actually signed with Sixstore. Sorry for the color; it's very hard to see. But I will. So this table is basically just showing that all these different releases of Python has been signed by the release manager, and there is like a ID there that you can check. But again, like sorry for the color being very light. So to use Sixstore to verify, you can do this. Put it in the pipeline. But I would introduce to you another tool that is actually make it easier to verify, like especially the libraries that you're using actually is legitimate. So this is mainly for CPython. So, and if you are following the blog post of PSF, you may know that PSF has become a CVE numbering authority a while ago. So I'll just call it CNA. It's easier because too many names. So what does it mean? So first of all, CVE are the numbers that is actually for documenting the vulnerability. So for each kind of vulnerabilities that got discovered, a unique number is going to given to it. So for example, if it's discovered in 2022, it will have the 2022 there, and also a unique number. So it's like uniquely identifiable. So why do we need that? It's because for the security engineers, they may want to communicate and talk about what's going on, because there may be a lot of things going on at the same time. Having the number makes it easier to talk about certain thing, whether something is patched or what's for them to solve the problems. Becoming a CNA just means that like we can now very quickly assign a number to the vulnerabilities in CPython and pip. So it's just kind of give PSF a status that like we do care about security and we are responsible for the security of CPython and pip. There's also a PSF advisory database, so that is actually all the records, so all these numbers for CPython is stored there. If you want to get you need the notification, you can sign up for the security, mailing list, because all the advisories will be published there. They're also in this OSV format, so this format is used by a lot of different vulnerability database. So that is helpful if you already have some tool that works with this format. So that is C Python mainly. Next, I want to talk about what's going on PyPI. Who has an account on PyPI? Yeah, quite a lot of you. So now you have to use 2FA. Actually, it has been a gradual process because it has been 2FA has been supported for quite a few years, but then we have to ask people, please set it up, right? So all the users are supposed to, you have to use 2FA at 2023. If not, then you may have trouble getting, signing in your account. So why do we do that? Why do we go through all this trouble of enforcing, 2FA? It's because we want to protect the libraries that you and me and everybody's using. We don't want someone to, again, like the example I made before, the baddies can get your account and upload something bad for everybody that's using your project. So 2FA's now become a kind of a standard, like a lot of technologies using 2FA. So also some 2FAs is better than the other. But again, I don't have time to go into the detail. If you're interested, we can talk about that later. Another thing is that Mike has been working on is the inbound malware volume report improvement. Again, this is on PyPI. So before, if someone finds something, for example, some baddies upload a name confusion library on PyPI and it's a problem and it should not be there because, for example, someone want to pip install pandas and forgot the S and will get a malware, that's bad. So if someone found something happening that should be reported, they will report it, and then the team is responding. So usually, the time that it takes is like 8 hours. This is not good because within that 8 hours, a lot of people may spell pandas wrong and get the bad malware. So what has been done is that now the system has been improved. So now there's a Help Scout. There's a new system that's now used by the PSF to receive the reports. So what's good about this tool is that now you can use it to tag, to assign, and close reports so the team can work more efficiently. But for the end user, it's also good because the pipeline, the end of the pipeline hasn't changed. So they can still keep on reporting as if they do in the past. So they don't have to learn how to do it again. So after doing that, you see this is a huge improvement. A lot of the report has been, done within 60 minutes or an hour. So that's 8-time improvement, which is very good because there will be less people spelling pandas wrong within that hour. So another thing is security audit. This thing is thankfully we have got funded by the Open Technology Fund, and so we have found a company to do that for us. Trail of Bits is doing this. The work is done on Warehouse, which is, if for those of you who don't know, is actually the code base that is for PyPI. So PyPI is actually, the code. If you want to, contribute to PyPI code, then it's actually Warehouse. Another tool, another code base is Capitage. Is actually a framework for deploying Warehouse. So that's also a very important piece that need to be audited. So that's what the two fine gentlemen in PSF has been doing, but that's not all. That's not everything that the community has been doing. We also have a Python security response team. There's not just Mike and Seth working on it, but there's more people than that working on it as well. So it's a team of people. They would actually take care of reports. So like I said, you can security report is very important to find, anybody realize if there's something bad, they can report it, and so action can be taken. So this is a quickly overview of what happened when someone, report a vulnerability. So first of all, this report I handled privately at the beginning because we don't want the baddies to know the vulnerabilities, right? And then the team will work privately. Again, this is not supposed to be disclosed. We don't want the baddies to know about this vulnerability. After that, then there will be a patch, there will be a new release, and then the information will be public because we have to tell everybody, please use the new patch, please don't use the old one, because the baddies may know one day and do something bad to you. Another thing is that we have the PA advisory database. So actually, sorry, that's a mistake there. It's not for CPython, but also there's other tool that's like a pip audit for packages on PyPI. So pip audit is a Python library that you could use it to check whether things are all right. Also, now PyPI, why PyPI is popular is because the OSV vulnerability database is actually pulling information from there. So if you're using other tools to scan vulnerability on the OSV database, now you can also get the information about the Python vulnerability as well. So so now you think what I can do to help. So if you're a maintainer, I know some of you are here, please enable 2FA everywhere. Actually, everybody should do this, like not just the maintainers. But if you're a maintainer, it's not just about you or your bank account, it's about everybody's computer and software. So please be responsible. Also learn about the best practice. There's a lot of learning materials out there online that you could know how you can improve your practice, for example, of releasing your software and things like that. Use trust publisher. This is something, again, like is specifically for PyPI. So this is something that the users of your software can check whether this is something legitimate that's uploaded by you. So for the details, read the blog post of PyPI blog post, then you will know that how to use trust publisher, how to establish it, and make yourself, legitimate maintainer. Also, PyPI blog, very good, like a lot of information there. Please subscribe. Seth blog is also good because I really enjoy reading his blog posts. So also follow him if you haven't yet. So if you are just like, oh, I'm just using Python for something, you can also do things to help. Please keep your dependency locked. So, use the package management tool, keep it up to date. Also, you can also pay attention to advisory, subscribe for the mailing list. Use pip update if you haven't done it. Have a look to see if that could, be integrated to your working pipeline, so you can also audit your dependencies. Also, you can use other tools that I've mentioned in this talk. So if you, for example, you are like, I'm the managing level in a company, you can make decisions, then, if your company is using open source projects, please support the Python Software Foundation. We have done so many good work. If you can help, if you can donate money, maybe we can hire a third person to help, and then more work can be done and we can be more safe. Educate the employees, there are so many courses out there. You want your developers know what's the good practice for security. Also, encourage them to, set up a good practice and follow them. So at the end, I want to thank these two amazing, organizations and companies to support PSF, and, with their funding, we now have like two amazing gentlemen to help us. Thank you very much for the support. Last, before I head off the stage, we have a security open space that Seth is leading. So the room is 320, actually just after lunch today. So you can go there to understand how you can help with vulnerabilities, how to handle them, and also project maintainers, I think you should be there. Also, GitHub security champion will be there as well. So, there's a chance that you can talk about security. And there are stickers. Of course, stickers. Please go there. That's the end of my talk. And thank you so much for listening to me. And I'm very happy to chat with you on the hallway track. Thank you. We have only 1 minute left, so I think I would prefer not to take questions. We can talk on the hallway. Thank you.